What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Movie X Hicks, and this is going to be the review of Justice League, the Snyder Cut, coming up right after this.
I need warriors.
4 years in the making of Justice League's Snyder Cut. Now, it was released this Thursday to a running length of 4 hours. Now, this is going to be kind of a different review. I think this is going to be like more of an overall discussion, if you will, / review. I think I am going to throw some spoilers in here just because a lot of people have seen this movie. Even though the original, not the original cut, but even though the Snyder Cut is extremely different than from the original one that we saw, the Joss Whedon version. Like, we really got the watered down version. And it almost kind of makes him look like a bad director just, after you see the Snyder Cut, and you just be like, wow, like the Snyder Cut was really an amazing movie. And we got really shortchanged. Like, I didn't hate the Joss Whedon version. I just thought it could have been better. And I don't know how long they would have made this movie, because I can't see a 4-hour movie in theaters doing it. So they still probably would have cut this down movie to at least about 3 hours. If you guys don't remember, the general sense of is the movie kind of basically begins, the Snyder Cut begins basically kind of after the following of Batman vs. Superman, where Superman dies. And in this rendition, we got to see the beginning after when Superman dies. He basically, after he dies, he unleashes the protection that he kind of gave over the world, and the mother boxes are kind of unearthed, and they're finally able to come to Earth to collect the mother boxes. And the mother boxes are these 3 mother boxes that basically, with this, if they come together, they basically can destroy any world. And Steppenwolf is basically the main protagonist or antagonist, of the movie from the original. Now, in the Snyder Cut, it was more Darkseid. So he didn't have a huge role in this, but he was basically the main bad guy, and we saw him like in the original version. We never even heard of Darkseid. Like, they kind of, Steppenwolf kind of themed on him, but like no one ever really, almost barely said his name. And this one we actually got to see Darkseid. We got to see Granny Goodness, and I like everything was kind of ×2, if you will. Now we got a lot more from Aquaman, the Flash, and Cyborg. Now, given the time, see, the thing that is kind of funny to me is that, with Marvel, the thing they could do on Marvel is all the Marvel's characters pretty much have their own individual movies. Iron Man, Thor, even the Incredible Hulk. Like, everyone had their own individual movies. Now, with the DC universe, Flash, Aquaman at the time didn't have the original movie, and Cyborg. So in the Snyder Cut, and the thing that kind of shortchanged it from the Whedon version is everyone got a bigger, longer story arc. We got to learn more kind of about Barry Allen, even though they really didn't touch about the Flash's father, like why he was in jail. A lot of people kind of already knew, and kind of same with Cyborg. Like, we found out a lot of stuff about him, like, in the Joss Whedon version, he's already became Cyborg, and like no one knew, like, well, what happened to him. Like, his mother wasn't in the original movie. How what happened to him, like with him getting an accident, how his father basically transformed him into the Cyborg. They really didn't deal with that one, unlike in the Snyder Cut. We got everything. It's like how he basically put him back together, like a Humpty Dumpty, if you will. And like I said, from and we got more bits and pieces of Aquaman. We got to see William Dafoe character coming up again, speaking to Aquaman, saying that his mother's mantle, and basically kind of protect the sea from the oncoming battle. Mira was actually in the movie with a kind of even a different accent. And also the other weird part about the movie was the ratio was the 4.3 ratio, because basically kind of a basic IMAX screen, and we know from the original version it had more of the theoretical box screen, which I miss the theoretical. I like the theoretical more than the 4131 version. I thought it was kind of weird just because we didn't see it in IMAX. I'm watching that at my house. Even if it is a 75-inch TV, it's still it's still not 100-foot one. So, but it was just so many different layers that I kind of respected about the Snyder Cut than the original. Now, I will say the runtime, 4 hours and 2 minutes, it was extremely long, but there were so many more other elements added in here. And like I started at 6:30 in the morning, and I watched it to about, I want to say, 8, and I had to take a break because I was just too beat, and I came back at like 11 and finished the rest of it. And I was just so impressed about everything. Now one far as story arcs between Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, their story arcs were a little bit a tad bit different, but most of the same. Now the things different from Superman was from when he the death of Superman, when he came back, he donned the black suit, and I'm not for sure exactly why they took that part out, because that's kind of really a historic comic. The death of Superman, that's is one of the highest selling comic books of all time, if I'm not mistaken. And so to kind of edit that part out kind of didn't make a lot of sense to me. Like I'm not understanding why Joss Whedon would kind of X that part out, because it's such a kind of crucial part to the comic book and obviously into the movie. Now, and also the things that were a little weird about it were Steppenwolf's character. You got a little more insight from him, far as it felt like he was like on Darkseid's bad side, like he had failed him before, and he was kind of trying to make amends, trying to get the mother boxes and try to take over Earth for Darkseid. But we got a little more kind of a gist of him, and everything was, like I said, to the max. The opening fight scene in Themyscira with the Amazons was way extended. And also, it is a more of a rated R version of this, so it's a lot more blood, a lot more guts, a lot more cussing. And the two additions that weren't in the original, obviously, were two characters I didn't see coming. The Martian Manhunter was in the movie, and he actually showed himself in this movie, which I didn't see coming. I was like, wow. And then they have a dream sequence towards the end with Joker, which is a kind of like a nightmare scene, but like the dialogue between Batman and Joker is just, it ain't nothing PG-13 about that. We can just say that. So all in all, I love the Snyder Cut. Like, now I do want to watch it again. Now 4 hours is very long. Like I said, it took me a long time to watch it, but a lot of people, I haven't seen one bad thrashing of this movie. Everyone seems to love it. I think the general census behind it is everyone loves his rendition better. It's that it's just really long, but that must not have really hurt him too much, because it crashed the servers at HBOMAX. Unfortunately, if you guys don't know, the original reason why he left was because his daughter committed suicide kind of at the end of the movie, so he wasn't able to complete the version that he really wanted to do. So that's probably the worst thing that could happen to any parent. He finally got his chance to show his vision, and it was just masterful. Like I loved every part of it. Cyborg was the crucial part of the story, and the heart and mind and soul kind of everything kind of everything kind of fell on his shoulders, as far as him being able to communicate with the mother boxes and basically connect the team. And you got to see a little heart of him, like his backstory. And I love like the way how they showed his backstory. It made him more humanizing, like instead of so skipped over from the original version. And like I said, this makes Joss Whedon look like a bad director, because they are so night and day. Obviously, not even including the rating and the time length. It's just the theme. And to me, he tried to bring that Marvel kind of esque to the Justice League. And to me, that's the one thing that I've always loved about DC, is that they've always been a darker themed comic books. Like they've been darker themed as far as deaths and the fighting, like in words, like everything's a lot more darker themed than Marvel. And I think that when Josh brought himself over to it, he kind of tried to lighten up and give it like a lot more comic act to it. And it really wasn't the time for that, even though it worked in the theoretical version. But when you see the original, you understand why DC is. So like I said, with that said, guys, like I love the movie. I want you guys to drop some comments. Let me know what you guys thought about this Snyder Cut. What you thought about the differences between the Snyder Cut and the theoretical. Which one was better to you guys, the Snyder Cut or the original? Still, like I said, I liked the original. It just always felt like it was missing something. And then now when I see the original director's version of it, it's just like, ooh, wow, it was missing a lot. Now, so if you guys like movie reviews, TV show reviews, think about subscribing to the channel. If you like what you saw, please give me a like. I'll highly appreciate that. Drop those comments. Let me know what you guys thought about this movie. Comments, guys. So Mr. Doing the Exercises out. Holler at you guys later.